Brought to you by Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
60 Pickleball is an industry leader in high-end pickleball paddles. Use discount code CPRICE10 to get 10% off at 60pickleball.com. Don't get stuck on the court with an inferior paddle. Go next level with 60.
Have you subscribed to the LGB Minute podcast yet? It's a 5-minute weekly St. Louis Blues podcast hosted by Jeff Ponder that is released multiple times a week to fill the gap between Let's Go Blues radio episodes. Subscribe today.
You're watching Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast with your hosts Kurt Price, Bill Day, and what appears to be a Peter Dinklage cosplay. So just sit back, grab a beer, and enjoy the best blues hockey talk on YouTube.
Welcome to episode 31 of season 14. This is episode number 512 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. Check out the LGB Minute wherever you get podcasts. It provides you with a daily look into the St. Louis Blues in a quick hit fashion. Smash that subscribe button wherever you get podcasts. And the full name, by the way, it is the Let's Go Blues Minute if you search for it. So I should probably point that out. It is Wednesday, April 30th, and we're streaming live to the masses. Make sure to follow us on socials at LGB Radio and like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook. By the way, Bill, breaking news. We are also on Twitch officially, so you can now stream us on Twitch. I set up our channel today, and we're streaming over there officially. We've kind of done it on my account, which I never set up. I don't know how I even had an account, but we're on there now. So if you're watching us on Twitch, welcome to Let's Go Blues Radio. I know you're a big Twitcher, Bill.
Right. Do you think we're really going to break through to kids watching other kids play video games? I just don't think it's going to happen.
Probably not, but we'll at least show up in, like, when you type in hockey in search, hopefully our shows will come up and maybe we'll get some live people will be like, this isn't a video game. What the hell? I am your host, Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by the magical stylings of Bill Day. Kurt Price is facing allegations for his inability to do a proper interview with CBS due to his girlfriend controlling his every word. I hope you get that reference.
Yes.
The agenda for tonight includes the Blues battling back against the Jets, injury updates, player recalls, and more on this better than Connor Hellebuyck episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. We've already got Austin Lynch in the chat, giving us a Connor. So yes, we all love the Connor chants. Unfortunately, we won't be hearing them tonight.
No. Well, if Ash Gibbs is there, I want it from him. He was at game 1. I saw him in game 1. So
nice.
If he's there tonight, I better hear it. But I loved it in game 4 when they put Comrie in and everybody started chanting, "We want Connor."
I lost it.
Yeah, that is the crowd chants when they get to that point. It's, you're in somebody's head. So
yep, and the crowd's having a good time too.
Oh yeah,
like that. Oh man, I just laughed so hard. Hellebuyck, because when it first started, I think he was still in the locker room. I don't think he'd come back to the bench yet. So that
I
his
don't
team.
think he came back at all.
Oh, did he not?
I thought they said, that he hadn't returned to the bench late in the third. So
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he heard it at some point, but I think we all know that his teammates definitely heard it, and we're like, oh boy, love it. Oh, if you were in Game 4 and you were part of that chant, kudos to you. That was fantastic. Well, we got a lot of show to get to. We got about an hour until puck drop, so let's go ahead and start getting into our big segments. First of all, I do want to say, if you ordered one of our wonderful white jerseys, I did get confirmation that they have started production. I think it was about a week and a half ago. So hoping to have those probably in the next couple weeks, which is fantastic. Can't wait to get those. And Kurt finally paid me, so that's good news.
So those aren't the allegations.
No, those are not. Also, I don't know if you noticed my shirt.
Bar down hockey.
The gentleman on the
There we
front.
go. Joe Boo.
Yeah, this is
Very
from
nice.
South County Bar out here. We'll be announcing something with them soon, I think. Something we're going to do with them over the summer. But yeah, the Bar Down Hockey Bar. They're actually at All American Sports Ball. I had not, so they redid that entire upstairs area. I had not been in there since they did it, like 15 months ago. And I went in today to pick their shirt up, and my goodness, it looks amazing. So they've got a shit ton of TVs, a bunch of open area. It is a hockey bar, and it's really cool that it's inside a hockey rink. So apparently they have been standing room only for playoff games. So if you're looking for a really cool place to check out a Blues game, the Bar Down Hockey Bar at All American Sports Mall, right there off Lindbergh, real close to 255 in Lindbergh.
Yep.
That's the best way to say it.
Yep. Back in the day, you could say right behind Casa Gallardo, but no more.
Right behind Aldi's now.
Yeah.
So let's get into our official beers of episode number 512. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. You can follow me at jponder94, Curse at cprice12. Bill is at Billy Blue Note 33. I will lead us off. It's playoffs. I have to stick to a beer whenever I do a show or watch the Blues. So I'm sticking with my Schlafly Pale Ale. This helped me get through the 2019 playoff run. So we are going right back into it because why not? So Schlafly Pale Ale for me, one of my favorite beers. Bill, what do you got tonight?
Very nice. I'm going with the dark stuff. It's not Canadian breakfast stout. That's just the mug. It is the Founder's Chocolate Espresso KBS. So I need some high ABV to help calm my nerves. So that's
I hate how nervous I am right now. I'll even say I don't think I was nervous for games 3 and 4. Like I was like, it's been fun. I kind of had it in the back of my mind. Like if they get swept, they get swept, but now that they're in it and it's like, now we're going back to Winnipeg and there's a chance they could take a lead. And then I've got tickets to game 6. Yeah. So I'm like, if they win this one, that is going to be potentially a great night. So now I'm like building myself up to be very nervous. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that's a dangerous line to be walking.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I hope I see the series end on Friday. I just hope it's for a team that I wanted to win.
Yeah, that's dangerous. When I went to the 2 games in the Stanley Cup final in 19, I had a chance to be there if they won on home ice, and that was the greatest feeling. So, I hope you get that. I hope that they can keep up the amazing work that they've done over the last 2 games, and let's have a repeat of that first round in 2019.
Let's hope that happens. I don't think Jaden Schwartz will be getting a hat trick, but that would still be nice.
Jake Neighbors.
Jake Neighbors. There you go. We'll take that. A couple more comments we'll get to here in the chat. Shadir Sanders might be more valuable than Connor. Right now, that might be the case, but we'll see. I don't want to talk too much shit on the guy before the Blues play him at home, which he's been very good at in this series. Jazz or Yas, I think it's Jazz.
Or Jace.
Or Jace, possible. I've talked to Jazz before. I believe that's how you say it. Could be wrong. Fowler going to have another big game. I can feel it. Austin Lynch again says, have you seen the John Gruden St. Louis Blues connection? Yeah, I don't. Is he a Barstool guy now? Is that what's going on with him? I might be asking the wrong person.
I think that's his shtick. I saw the one video where he was unboxing a Binnington jersey, and the Ric Flair wooing. I turned it off after about 30 seconds. So
yeah, I think he's a Barstool guy. So I'm just gonna tell you, I've taken a hard stance on that, and so I don't really pay attention to anything Barstool. But I always did like John Gruden as a coach and as a dude. So I'm glad to see him on board with the St. Louis Blues. Austin adds Busch Light Apple is what he's drinking tonight. Very cool. Jazz says it's Jason, so I would guess that means he probably goes by Jace. So you were right, Bill. And yeah, good work. All right. Well, let's get into some hockey talk here. So for those of you that maybe didn't see it, or maybe you did and you didn't understand it, the Blues did recall 3 players ahead of this game. They called them up. I believe that was on Monday. Yep, that was Monday. They called up goaltender Colton Ellis, forward Nikita Alexandrov, and defenseman Corey Schooneman from their AHL affiliate, the Springfield Thunderbirds. I think a lot of people, well, I want to say a lot. I saw some people on social media saying, oh, what, do they just expand the rosters? Like, what about the Thunderbirds? Like, don't they want to play them in the playoffs? They lost in the playoffs. That is why we saw those guys get called up. So they literally lost Sunday night to the Providence Bruins in their best of 3 series. And they won the first game 2-1, and then they lost the next 2 games by a total score of 6-1. So they did lose that series. So that's why the Blues went ahead and called these 3 guys up. Yes, you do expanded rosters in the playoffs, but Blues typically don't do that until their affiliate loses. So Ellis has been the starting goalie. So he's up with the big club, and you can kind of start considering these guys like your black aces. So Ellis again, great year for the Thunderbirds. Possibility we'll see him in a Blues jersey or an NHL jersey, I should say, in probably the next 2 or 3 seasons. Nikita Alexandrov, Blues fans are familiar with him. And then obviously Corey Schooneman is a guy who came up and played let's see, he played what, like 9 games earlier this season. We said on the show, we were very impressed with how he played. So I don't know if we'll see any of these guys get into the lineup, but with already having an injury on defense, Schooneman has already kind of seen himself step in, and I think they've already been taking line rushes for guys that they're letting have practice days off. So they're already getting involved with the Blues team.
Yeah, that's I'm excited about most of them. Alexandrov, if he had some more development, great. Kind of thought we were done with him after last year, but hey, if he can come in and contribute, all the better. But I would expect that it would be Schooneman the most likely to see any ice time, and that's only if there's additional injury on the D.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's nobody else on the roster that's ahead of him right now, right? I mean, outside of obviously Tucker if he comes back, but
so
yeah,
Kessel hasn't been up, right? They didn't recall him, right?
No.
So that's he would be the guy. So
yep, we'll see. We will see, unless they call somebody else up, which could happen still.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an injury, I think absolutely they will.
Yep.
And at this point, they're probably all. Anybody that would get called up is already in St. Louis since their season's over. So,
yep, agree. That's what I thought too. I figured there's probably a hotel rented out somewhere that they've got a bunch of rooms booked, and guys like this are all just kind of, close to the rink. They're probably somewhere in Maryland Heights, and practicing, showing up to practice, skating in the mornings, and just around the team right now, which is always good. Doug Paddock, he says Kessel is up with the team. That is our mistake, if that's true. I guess was he never sent back down after his last recall?
That's a good question. Doug can help us out.
I'm going to look at our official roster here. Yeah, you're right. Kessel is still with the team. Yeah, he's on the what is it, whatever it is now, the 25-man roster. So yeah, he is still up with the team. Okay, well there you go. Thank you, Doug, for the correction. We appreciate it. All right. Well, I think we'll take a quick break here. When we get back, there is plenty to talk about. We're about an hour outside of game time, and we've got some games to talk about. We also want to preview Game 5 with all of you. So, for Bill, this is Jeff, and Bill is reacting to the Canadiens game. I'm sure we will get to that in a minute. You are listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
We'll return after these messages.
As a hockey player, Mike Burgoyne knows a thing or two about making the perfect play. And when it comes to real estate, he's always ready to score the winning goal for his clients. If you're a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues Radio listener looking to score the home of your dreams, you'll receive special rates with Mike. Go ahead. Shoot some questions his way, and he'll have the answer quicker than Curtis Joseph on a breakaway.
Curtis Joseph got the pedal down!
Any barriers? Mike will mow them down like Chris Pronger in front of the net. He'll score you your dream home or sell your existing home faster than a Brett Hall one-timer.
Look past the Hall, he shoots, he scores!
See Burgoyne's real estate prowess in action today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or by calling 314-753-4060. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com, and that phone number is 314-753-4060. Getting Mike Burgoyne on your team will be the boost your power play needs.
The battle for the top spot in the league is on the line. Many warriors have entered the concrete jungle, but when the smoke clears, only one will remain. They all want it, but only one shall have it. Hide your children, lock your doors. Those with weak stomachs should almost certainly look away. This is Big Boy Pickleball. You have been warned.
Already know that you love hockey, and you obviously already love the Let's Go Blues Radio podcast, but what about filling the gap between weekly Let's Go Blues Radio episodes? That's where the LGB Minute comes in. Hosted by Jeff Ponder, the LGB Minute is an entertaining, down and dirty, 5-minute St. Louis Blues podcast released multiple times a week to keep you informed of all things St. Louis Blues. So make sure to subscribe to the LGB Minute anywhere you listen to podcasts, like right now. Do it now. Just click subscribe. It's easy. Please. Now.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
That Let's Go Blues Minute guy is just so demanding.
Yeah. I mean, you pick some dicks to represent us in these commercials.
Apparently. Did you have a wardrobe change?
Yeah. My Montreal jersey is not wadded up in a ball in the corner.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for your team right now. Yeah. Second team. Yeah.
That's that's just bad penalties. And the last goal was Tom Wilson So when your biggest adversary scores a power play goal and you have 4 guys standing around looking at him do it, you're not going to win. So it was pretty bad play. I feel bad for Jakob Dobish. He has stepped in admirably. I don't think Sam Montembeau makes that big a difference to win the series, but for a kid who wasn't expected to be on the roster at all this year, getting in there and playing pretty well, it sucks for him that he's just got such a young defense in front of him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good news is, and this is for both your teams, I feel like you can only go up from here for both these teams. I mean, maybe they take a minor step back in the next year or two, but both these teams are very young, and talking about the Canadians and the Blues, and they could...
The youngest teams in the playoffs.
Exactly. They could easily be a Stanley Cup final in the next couple of years, which would be amazing. It'd be a heart attack for you, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
for me, it would be incredible because it'd be, I mean, I know it was, 60s, but getting payback for losing 2 Stanley Cup finals to them would be really cool and quite the storyline.
Yeah. That was always when I played the NHL series, that was always my dream. Whichever team I was playing to get into the final against either the Blues or Canadians. So
yeah. Well, speaking of young teams, Jace in the chat says, I'm missing Holloway, but it's amazing to see how much depth we have compared to Winnipeg, and we are the second youngest team of forwards behind Montreal. That is true. And again, just goes to show, and obviously with them being Bill's 2 favorite teams, he just loves the young boys. Sorry, couldn't pass it
up. Of course you couldn't.
We got our friend Justin Scott in the chat. He says, how are you boys doing? Also, screw you, dickweeds. My Captain Obvious remarks worked. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was, Justin. It was your remarks why the Blues came back. They were like, Justin Scott's right. We should try to win some games.
Yeah. No, it's because I put the Perron Winter Classic jersey on. So you have your beer that's you stick with. This, I tried different jerseys. We haven't lost with this one. So I'm going with it till we lose.
You just said it out loud. I don't like that.
I'm just saying, going with it till we lose.
Oof. All right. Well, good luck to you. I hope I hope you never have to take that off.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. Game 1 was Steen. So Steener, you're out. Game 2. Which one was that? Might have been Brian Elliott. So
games 1 and 2, I stuck with it, and maybe it was my fault. So I apologize, Blues Nation. I did wear my Team Canada Binnington jersey. And maybe I was sending mixed signals because, Team Canada, they're in Winnipeg. So maybe this was all my fault, why they lost the first 2 games. Games 3 and 4, I went with my Jake Neighbors away jersey. And I'm obviously going to be wearing that one tonight as well. And I'm in kind of a pickle, though. I kind of wish I would have picked my Binnington Blues jersey because if they win tonight, my record when I'm in the building wearing that jersey is ridiculous. I think I've only lost like once or twice in the last 3 years when I wear that jersey. So I'm like, the Blues win tonight, I'm going to have quite the pickle. I don't know what I'm going to do. These are the things we worried about, fans. Like this. Who cares about work? Right. Yeah. Who cares about what's going on in our families? I need to worry about what jersey I'm wearing to the Blues game.
So Tampa has tied their game at 3 halfway through. Power play goal by Jake Gensel.
All right. Well, I'm just turned this one on, so we'll see how it's going. Florida leads that one 3-1. That's an interesting series. So a lot of people picking the Lightning to win the Cup. So a lot of people, a lot of gurus in sports would have their Stanley Cup winner already out in the first round if that happens. Excuse me, if that happens. Let's see. I've not vetted this comment yet, but I'm going to read it before we get into our actual talk. I will say this with 100% confidence that even if Jets win this series, the Jets will not be winning the cup. Their non-existent composure as President's Trophy winners is very concerning. I think I agree with that. If they lose or if they win this series, I could see them easily losing to Dallas or Colorado.
Yeah, they're Hellebuyck. If they win this series, it's in spite of Hellebuyck, right? And you go into the next round. The one thing that the one path I see them winning the series in is home team wins every game in the series, right? And that's good for them, throughout the playoffs since they're the President's Trophy winners. But somebody's going to break that somewhere along the line.
Yep, that is true. All right, well, let's get into it. We mentioned it. The Blues heading into Game 5, winning the last 2 games, both at home, both games chasing Connor Hellebuyck from the crease. They won Game 3 by a score of 7-2, and then they blew the Jets out again on Sunday afternoon by a score of 5-1. So much we could talk about with these games. First of all, Ryan Suter going into Game 3 was a healthy scratch. He played all 82 regular season games, and then obviously Games 1 and 2 of the series. Tyler Tucker came in and obviously had a big goal, the game-winning goal in Game 4, and in the Blues' 5-1 win. But he was injured late in the third period. He buckled on the top of his right leg after a checking play in the corner with Jets forward Brandon Tanev. I don't think there was anything. You tell me if you agree. I don't think there was anything malicious. I think it was just an odd play. 2 guys battling. This has been a rough series. I'm surprised there hasn't been more injuries like this because what's the hit count up to now? Like 1,000 in this series?
Right. And Adam Lowry has looked like he's, after the last 2 games got out of hand, looked like he was just trying to hurt people. So, we'll see what happens tonight. But yeah, I thought that particular play, it was kind of just a weird thing where Tucker got caught up and Tanev's stick got stuck and he's trying to get around him and then rams so hard into the boards. And that at first I thought, looked like he led with his shoulder and it looked like a separated shoulder. But then when he got up, it couldn't put any weight on it. And that looks like a pretty bad either ankle or knee problem.
Yep, agree. And Justin Scott. Yeah, we actually were already commenting on that, Justin. He says, I went to Game 4. Did y'all love our chants? Yes, we did. We were commenting on the "We Want Connor" chants. That was, oh my God, just beautiful. Beautiful work, Blues fans. But yeah, so I bring up the Tyler Tucker injury. Jim Montgomery came out and said that he is day-to-day with Tucker and unavailable for Game 5. I have to wonder, and it almost things like this always it's the one part in the back of my mind that's like, well, if the Blues lose, at least we'll get the injury updates, right? So it's the sooner the Blues lose, the quicker we'll find out, oh, Tucker actually dislocated his knee, broke his ankle. To me, I look at that and I'm like, again, we saw it with Colton Parayko in his rookie season. We bring it up on the show all the time where his leg bent the wrong way and somehow still came back and played. Tucker is a younger guy. Maybe it was something that it just couldn't put any weight on it at first. Maybe he got his skates off and he feels better now, just not ready to go. But man, looking at that play over and over like I have, I just don't see how he's not out for 3 months with a serious injury.
Yeah. I would not expect him back this playoff year. Anytime you see somebody going off without being able to put weight on their leg, although that kind of happened to Logan Thompson and he's about to knock Montreal out. So
yeah, that's true. No, I just, oh God, I hated watching that injury. And it's one of those things that I hate, but I wanted to keep watching it and see if I could see something that nobody else was or that I hadn't noticed because, it's just okay, because it was after he came back or after Montgomery came out and said the next day that he's day-to-day and not available for Game 5. I'm like, okay, what am I not seeing? Because, yeah, but somebody on Twitter I saw said that's gamesmanship. Like, again, when the Blues lose, they're going to come out and say, oh, he's out for 3 months or 6 months or something, which I could see. But I also just think, like, if your player is going to be out that long, I think they would just announce it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's not like this is Colton Parayko or Robert Thomas, and it's like, a game-changing player. Nothing against Tyler Tucker. He's been fine for the Blues and obviously scored a big goal for them. But this isn't like this guy's going to change the series for either team. So if he's, definitely out, I think they say it. I think they say, yeah, he sustained a pretty unfortunate injury. We won't see him the rest of the postseason. The Jets aren't sitting there going, oh, I wonder if Tyler Tucker is going to play tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably just, a standard protocol thing for most teams, especially in, the first 3 rounds. If there's a chance you could advance to the next round and beyond that, you're not going to disclose an injury, right? They all view that as significant information that other teams can plan around. Again, Tyler Tucker is not like the a stud piece that you think is going to change a bunch of games, but it's just standard policy, right? They're just not going to do it.
And we got another comment here from Justin Scott. He says, I miss Holloway, but the constant questioning about him is driving me crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just how things go when you've got a guy like him out. You're just going to constantly hear, well, imagine if this team had Dylan Holloway. But yeah, I did read Lou Korak was the one I've seen post about it most recently in his story. I think it was ahead of game 4. He had asked Montgomery any update, and he just said nope, but he is skating and no setbacks. So that's all I think you can hope for at this point is, if he, again, I know they're not going to say a lot about what's going on with these players in terms of injuries, but if we heard Montgomery slip and say something like, well, we're hoping we'll see him for round 2 or something, like, then you're like, ooh, that's concerning. But he isn't traveling. I heard him and Tucker were both not on the plane to Winnipeg this morning or last night, whenever they left. I don't think we'll see him this round. But hey, if the other series goes 7 games and the Blues end up winning this in 6 and they get a nice little break, maybe he is a guy we see in round 2. But I doubt we see him here in round 1. Well, again, so with Tyler Tucker out, Ryan Suter is inserted back into the lineup tonight. Again, I don't want to say anything. Again, I think Tyler Tucker, we've talked about him on this show. I think he's played great. Obviously, big goal, but also playing really well in front of his net, not taking shit from anybody. What you want in the lineup against the Winnipeg Jets. But if there is going to be an injury on this team, a bottom 2 defenseman is the best case scenario, because you're not inserting, again, like, as much as I like the guy, you're not inserting a Matthew Kessel, a guy who's never seen NHL playoff hockey. You're inserting Ryan Suter, who just played in 82 games. So he's well seasoned. He's played in, I don't even know how many playoff games in his career. I thought he looked fine in the first 2 games. I think it was just, we got to do something and we got to maybe get a little tougher and get Tucker in there. But Ryan Suter is a guy that I am more than comfortable inserting into the lineup here in game 5.
Yeah, 100%. Before Tucker scored the goal in game 4, like, I wanted so badly, like, I've trained myself not to social media post, and I'm training myself not to, go to our group text to vent my frustrations. But I was so pissed off at Tucker, with his play. He got walked for Winnipeg's first goal. There are 2 guys that got walked for Winnipeg's first goal in game 3. And then, he's had trouble playing on his offside, holding pucks in. And I thought, God, this is just too much of a liability. But then, he was playing so physical, boxing people out, keeping people from the front of the net, and then scores the big goal. I was like, I'm glad I didn't say anything because I'd, be eating crow at this point. But
Yep.
yeah, when he went down, I'm like, thank God it's not Shen, right?
Right.
Thank God it's not even Radek Foxa, right? It's one of the guys that you can afford to lose. Not that you want to lose anybody, but bottom 2D, if you're going to have an injury, that's where you want it to be, right?
I mean, what, 3 years ago, the Blues were in the playoffs, and it was Jordan Binnington. Like,
right.
The Blues, I mean, clearly could not lose that guy. And when they did, they ended up, I think, winning one more game. But, I mean, Ville Husso gave up a disgustingly bad goal to end the season. And it's like Jordan Binnington makes that save 10 out of 10 times, So you don't want to be in a situation like that, or like, a Robert Thomas is a guy who gets hurt. And all of a sudden, you're talking about all your centers shifting up, and you've got to play Matthew Joseph as your fourth line center. It's just, those are the kind of things that you like, that becomes very difficult. A good coach can adjust, but after a while, it just gets to be too much. And again, with a bottom pairing defenseman, you're inserting a guy who knows hockey through and through, an excellent defenseman. Oh, we got a 4-3 Panthers lead now. I know you probably saw that like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
but...
Sam Bennett with a snipe, and Vasilevsky looking pedestrian again.
Mm-hmm. Yep, looking like Connor Hellebuyck. But anyway, so Oof. Yeah, it's concerning. But again, I think there are worse things that could happen. And the big injury right now for me, yes, you're concerned about Tucker. You want Holloway back. You get him back in this lineup. I mean, all of a sudden your offense has one of their leaders back, and that would be invaluable for the Blues to try and win this series.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about how it's Suter who's drawing back in. If you remember, Game 2, they made the decision to go 11-7, and Joseph was out. You had the 7 defensemen, Suter and Tucker both played. And when they came back to St. Louis, went back to 12-6, it was Texier who drew in, and I will tell you, I have been super impressed with his play. So if there's a guy that's going to replace him at this point, it better not be Matthew Joseph. It better be Dylan Holloway, right? Yep. Texier has, like, for some reason, his game seemed to just step up now that we're in the playoffs. He plays with a little bit of grit, but also some, playmaking ability. And, happy to see him in there. And yeah, I trust with Suter on the back end that he'll bring that calming presence that he's done all year, and probably keep a puck or two in the zone that Tucker didn't.
J'aime Alexander Texier.
True French, right?
That's real French there. Or j'adore Alexander Texier. They both work. Somebody in the chat, here it is. Jace in the chat earlier on said, Fowler going to have another big game. I can feel it. Thank you, Anaheim. Good God. I actually had to look up what the Blues gave up in that trade. Do you remember what it was? Or who it was?
Jeremy Biaka-Batuka.
Yep. So the Blues got a 4th-round pick with Fowler for Biaka-Batuka and a 2nd-round pick. I had to look that up. That's insane. I don't know why Anaheim traded him when they did. I know we joked that they didn't want to give him a gift for his 1,000th game, but why did they not hold on to him until the deadline? Like it makes no sense. I know that Anaheim, it was smart to trade him if they could, but man, I just feel like they could have gotten a king's ransom for that guy if they would have waited. And the Blues are benefiting. He has been tremendous. Well, since coming to the Blues, but he's been tremendous in the postseason. Game 3, he had a goal and 4 assists that set a Blues record for the most by a defenseman in a playoff game. He's also the 8th defenseman in league history to get 5 or more points in a playoff game. Ridiculous. I mean, it's not only the offense either. He's so sound defensively. I'm not going to say he's Nicholas Lidstrom out there, but he's been a massive upgrade for this team on the left side on that top pairing.
Yeah, I know a couple years ago, after the Getzlaf and Perry era started winding down, there was a lot of knock on his game about how he slowed the game down too much, and didn't have the same pace that he had when he was a rookie coming up under Scott Niedermayer. But what we're seeing with Cam Fowler in St. Louis is a veteran guy who knows how to manage time, knows how to manage a playoff game, and his decision making with and without the puck. I mean, his goal right in Game 3, he set the play up behind the net, and he knew he needed to be the guy to pinch, and made no mistake when Thomas sent that nice sauce to him. He is just everything that the Blues needed, and it's like the timing couldn't have been better, right? Got him right before the Winter Classic, so comes into the Winter Classic, plays his 1,000th game in the Winter Classic, and almost scored a hat trick, which would have put him at 100 goals for his career.
Yeah.
And also, I think I've used him 3 times now in Puck Doku for 100 goals in a career, and I usually get 0-0. So
yeah, it's pretty nice.
Great move. Pro tip.
It's like people already forgot that he scored his 100th goal this season. Yeah, he's been insane. I just cannot believe how little the Blues gave up. I mean, maybe Biaka Patuka turns out to be a decent defenseman in the NHL, but he's not going to be Cam Fowler. And maybe your second round pick that they got turns into something great, but it's not Cam Fowler. And I get, again, I'm not against Anaheim trading him. It made sense for where they're at, but I just think, man, I feel like you could have gotten so much more. And we're right here, Jason in the chat. Jace, you're killing it tonight with your comments. Doug Armstrong is a stud. Yeah. I mean, he pulled off that trade, and it was funny. I know at the time I was like, my only qualm with it was why? Like, we're not even trying to be in the playoffs this year. Why are you going and getting a Cam Fowler? Well, guess what? Now we're in the playoffs, and it makes total fucking sense why we got Cam Fowler. So I'm all for it. He's been great. I mentioned his was that Game 1, the step up to get Thomas the puck as the puck was entering the zone. He was outside of the zone and then just had the smarts to just take one hand and poke it up and keep it in the zone as he's skating backwards. And Rob Thomas was there all alone to score. And it's just, man, I mean, he has just been tremendous. And again, like, I think I said this in the show before. Can you imagine if the Blues could have gotten him instead of Nick Leddy a couple of years ago?
Oh my God.
I mean, that team, even with Jordan Binnington getting hurt, they might have made some more noise against Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, we have to go back to the terrible goal Husso gave up. Who was the former Red Wing that scored the goal? Not Abdelkader, the guy that was just like him. Like, anyway,
Anthony Ciu?
No, it was somebody in the chat. Help us out.
Yuri Hudler.
No. Anyway, had we had a a more calming presence in the back end than Nick Leddy, possibly we get through to the next round.
I'm trying to look it up right now, but my internet is crawling. Or the Avalanche site is crawling. Here we go. 2021.
Darren Helm. Justin Scott to the rescue.
His name was on the tip of my tongue. Filppula from Adam Gold. I think that was a couple more years ago than that. But yes, Darren Helm is correct. Thank you, Justin. Anyway, yeah. So we talked about Cam Fowler and how great he's been. A stat that I saw, and I think a couple of us have seen it. The Blues defense has recorded 16 points, including 12 assists this postseason, by far the most in the NHL. That follows up an impressive regular season from when the Blue Liners had 46 goals, which was third in the league, and was the team's highest total for defensemen since 2018 and 19. 5 of the team's 6 defensemen recorded points in Game 4, and let's see, more about Tucker. But yeah, I'm just amazed at, and it's funny, we talk about the age of this defense, but they are so mobile and they really do push Winnipeg. We see them again. We mentioned the Cam Fowler keeping in Game 1, but there's just so many times where it's like Winnipeg, you could tell they're getting on the thrusters, they're getting ready to move up the ice, and the Blues defense are just so active in the offensive zone that they just crowd the puck carrier. I think we saw it a lot more in Games 3 and 4, so hopefully we see it in Game 5. Obviously, it's going to be a little different because it's in Winnipeg, but they make it so hard on Winnipeg to try and get the offense going. Now, I think once Winnipeg gets the offense going and gets the puck in the offensive zone, that's where you worry. But to me, the breakouts with Winnipeg, I haven't been that nervous about it. Yes, we got Jordan Binnington back there, but I just feel like the defense has been so good at limiting those rush chances.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. I think that tonight you're probably going to see Winnipeg going with more lob passes to try to beat the press, right? I think that's an adjustment that they were doing that early in the series, and got away from it. The Blues, also had a very good forecheck game. So, an unheralded side of this matchup, I think at this point, is the ability to match up, right? I was incorrect earlier on in the series, when I faulted having a bad matchup in the first game on the game-winning goal, right? It was Shen versus Scheifele. That's actually what they wanted. Our guys were just tired from being on the ice for an icing. So, I think you're going to see them try to match up as much as possible against Thomas and Sundqvist's line. So,
and I think the Blues in Games 3 and 4, obviously scoring a bunch of goals helped, but limiting the Jets' chances. I mean, they had 19 shots in Game 3, and they did have 31 in Game 4, but still, I don't feel like Binnington, he had a couple of amazing saves, but I don't feel like he had to stand on his head. And I think a big part of that is just because they've limited that offensive zone time for the Jets. Once the Jets get set up in the zone, there is almost nobody in the league better at moving the puck around. Maybe you could say Colorado, maybe even Washington, but they are so good at just keeping that puck on their sticks, finding the seam passes, getting passes across. I mean, we shit on the Blues defense for Kyle Connor being wide open for 2 of his goals, both the game-winning goals for them. But at the same time, when you watch the movement from Winnipeg, I mean, it's so hard to manage a zone defense, even man-to-man defense, if you're trying to keep up with these insane passes, the movement that these top lines can do. They are just so gifted in the offensive zone, and credit to the coaching as well for being able to get these guys to play the way they are. But if the Blues are going to have success tonight, I think it's got to continue what we saw in Games 3 and 4, just limiting that offensive zone time, stay out of the penalty box, obviously, and just keep pressing on the forecheck and clogging up the neutral zone, because again, you let those guys get set up. That's when I get nervous. I'm like, oh no, they're hemmed in their own zone for 45 seconds now. Like, that's when I start to say, oh boy, hopefully the Blues can get a clear here.
Right. It's whether it's Scheifele and Connor out there. I mean, go back to was it Game 3 when Scheifele? I thought for sure he scored after the Blues were up 3-0, and it just like somehow squirted out and missed the short side. He had nothing there on that play, and he almost made something out of it. And the other guy that's, that has been really impressive for them in this series is Cole Perfetti, right?
Just going to say that.
He is we could talk about, what could have been save of the week, and we could have done the whole 5-minute clip of the replay that, took them that long to figure it out, that they didn't have conclusive evidence to turn it in. I will say, I think more likely than not, it was in the net, but they couldn't get an angle that centered the red line to know where the puck was.
Let's talk about that real quick. So, and I agree, Cole Perfetti is that's a sleeper guy right there that I'm like, keep an eye on him because he could easily steal this series in a couple goals in games 5 and 6. But excuse me, I'm with you. I think it was across the line. Common sense tells you the puck was across the line. I saw a bunch of Winnipeg Jets fans saying that in the comments on Sportsnet's post about it. Common sense tells you the puck's in the net. Yes, I agree, 100%. The problem is you can't just use common sense when you're trying to use black and white on what's going on a play like that. To me, if the officials called goal on the ice, I think it would have been a goal after replay. They would have said, we don't have enough to overturn it. But I think because they didn't call it a goal on the ice, I think it was, yes, is the glove in the net? Yes, but we can't see the puck. So we don't know where it's at in the glove. It could be at the very edge. And if it's not all the way across, we can't count that a goal. So I just think you got to take common sense out of it. And you just got to say, and I would be saying this was the Blues too. I know I sound like a homer, but to me, as an official, as a referee, as somebody in the war room, you can't just say, yeah, it looks like it's in the net. We got to count that a goal. You have to have conclusive evidence. And again, I think it was conclusive evidence to overturn the call on the ice. And because it was called a save, they said, we can't overturn that.
Yeah, 100%. That everything came down to what the original call was. If nothing was getting overturned, and to me, that shows an effective replay system, right?
Yes.
You're applying it both ways. If there's not conclusive evidence, and the gut feeling, 100%, like Julie and I were watching it, we're both like, oh yeah, that's pretty sure that's in. And I mean, she was a little more convinced than I was, but just knowing that they didn't have a way to square the puck to the goal line, you couldn't say it, right? And so 100% the NHL got it right by staying with the call on the ice. Now, I would begrudgingly say that the same way if the call had been goal. But I also think that Jordan Binnington is going to get the benefit of the doubt. He seems to get that in the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Go back to Jamie Benn and the wraparound in 2019. He plays very well right where that line is, right? And he's a big game goalie. He's probably going to get the call from the official.
Well, and I think honestly, you're right. I think you're right. I think that the better goalies, the guys who, if this was the Four Nations face-off overtime and this play happens, I think same thing. It's fucking Jordan Binnington. This guy is a big game goalie. But I'll say that I think for the most part, I think all goalies should get the benefit of the doubt on that play because for me, it's just like, I mean, look at that save. He didn't give up on it. It didn't just tip off his glove because he was standing there. Like, to me, it was the benefit of the doubt goes to the goalie because it looks like he made the save. So, yeah, I like the call on the ice. I think it was a good call on the ice, and it was a good replay not challenge, but a good replay. Now, I will say one issue I have with replay happened in the Minnesota Vegas game last night. Did you see the end of the game?
I did not. I have needed more sleep, so I've denied myself third period of the West Coast games.
You acted like these 8:30 starts are a problem for Midwesterners. I mean, come on, Bill. No, so in that game, Ryan Hartman, so it was about 1:30 left in the third period, tie game. I think it was 2-2. And Ryan Hartman skates in on the wing. A weird play. The puck pokes off oh my Lord, the night goaltender, Aiden Hill. It like tips off his stick. Hartman goes to like kick at the puck and it goes in the net. And so instantly the officials are like, they call it a goal, but they're like, we got to review that. And they review it and they're like, it takes like 2 or 3 minutes. And they're like, we found that basically the guy didn't touch the puck. Like he kicked at it, but he missed and it still went in the net. Well, then Vegas comes back and says, we want to challenge for offside. So then they do a whole other challenge on the same goal that takes 3 or 4 minutes. And by this point, you haven't played hockey in 8-9 minutes. And it's just like, for me, if you're going to do an official challenge, I know that like some fans would disagree with us. Just review everything and just go ahead. Hey, we're already reviewing this. Let's not take up any more time. He's offside right there. We don't even need to look at if he kicked it in. Like, just call the goal back. It's not a legal goal. Like, to me, that's the way to do it. Not, let's have the fans sit and wait, especially at the end of an exciting game. We're just not going to play for the next 8 minutes. Then they're going to finish the minute 30. Then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to go to overtime. It's just like, come on, speed this shit up. This is taking way too fucking long.
Yeah. And, as a fan, the worst part about that whole process to me is all the fucking cliche songs that get played during that time.
Yes.
Like the next time somebody plays Fort Odd Bloods during NHL game for a challenge, I want to find the music director and just slap shot right at the nuts.
I will add a caveat to that. If it's played on the organ, I'm okay with it.
No.
But I get away. I say the organist gets away with it with anything, so I'm okay with it.
I used to think that way. Like I thought, the first year that Jeremy played "Fuck You," after the opposing team scored was great. But now at this point, it's like, all right, that's played out. I love innovation in songs, and so just, I hope that we can see some more songs other than Let It Be, What's Going On. It's okay. All right. So if somebody plays the Smiths, please let me get what I want. I'm all for it, but only for the first time. Anybody after that? No.
Oh, you kidding me? They got all the Cardinal stuff on Bally Sports tonight. Is that right? Or no, maybe not. No, maybe not. Okay. I was gonna say the game's already over, I thought.
Doubleheader. It was a doubleheader.
Oh, is it a doubleheader?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
How
do you know that and I don't?
Just because I got the new Android update on my phone last night, and apparently they're putting automatic updates on on the top bar. I need to figure out how to turn this off before I wind up catching the final of a Liverpool game.
I was gonna say there's your old man comment. I need to figure out how my phone works.
Yep. Yeah, this big AI update they did. I'm gonna be old man screaming at clouds.
I think this is I think Trees has a good comment here. The simple answer is just play more Rush songs. Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah.
Play some Rush. Yeah. Give me some Rush on the organ. That sounds awesome. All right. So Blues, Jets getting started here in a little bit. Obviously, we are not going to record when the game starts. So we got a little bit of time here because the NHL, hey, we're going to start you at 8:30, but puck drop's actually going to be at like 8:53. Just because we fucking hate you, Midwest. Thank you, NHL. And I complained, but I was going to be up anyway, but it's still annoying. All right. So again, Connor Hellebuyck, I think we got to have a little bit of discussion here. Jordan Binnington overall in the series, I think is outplaying. I don't think there's any question is outplaying Connor Hellebuyck statistically, and just the eye test would tell you that too. I thought I really can't think of a bad goal that Binnington's given up. I think you said you had a problem with one of them in game 2, I believe. The one that somebody came from behind the net and wrapped it in front.
Iafallo, right? He didn't.
Iafallo,
he didn't seal on that play. I thought that in his his stick wasn't positioned right, but really it was the seal of the pad.
That might have been game 1. Game 2 was a deflection, I think. Both goals. Well, it was the Snuggerud play and then well, anyway, doesn't matter. So I think there's really no question that Binnington has been the better goalie in this series. And I think anyone who knows anything about hockey was going to guess that was going to happen. But I think at the same time, even as a Blues fan, it's weird saying this, you kind of expected more from Hellebuyck. Mm-hmm. I think his game 2 was pretty solid, but I also don't think the Blues played very well in game 2. I think there was a lot of ticky-tack bad passes that just did not go through. They tried the seam pass a bunch, and Winnipeg kept pulling it out. And I just think, he didn't have to be great in game 2. But then again, I thought he gave up a lot in game 3 early that let the Blues kind of get on that surge.
Right. The Blues could have been up 5-0 5 minutes into game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, we basically up 3-0 at that point. But they hit a post or two, had a couple that went just wide. I thought, I think I made the comment last week that I thought the chemistry was all fucked up, going 7-11 in game 2. And the Blues just never really found their rhythm. But game 3, I mean, just Pavel Buchnevich set the tone and the pace for the game and got to him early. And, same thing has to happen tonight, right? I think you have to come out and pump everything you possibly can at them. And that's what they were doing early in game 3 and to an extent in game 4. So
Heavy Hockey Network, our friends over there, check them out. I believe is it heavyhockey.com? Sorry, Michael. I'm the worst. Playoff Hellebuyck is amazing, he says. I think all Blues fans would agree with that. I'm going to check that real quick and make sure I'm right. Yes, heavyhockey.com. Check them out. They got some great columns and podcasts over there. I'm actually going to contribute a little bit on the back end, and then I don't know. He gave me credentials to start writing, so maybe I'll start doing that again, just for the fun of it. So check them out, heavyhockey.com.
Your PWHL Takeover Tour article was that strong.
Yes, that's what it was. He was like, that one article is the best thing I've ever read. Write more, please. I don't know why I have him sound like J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man. Give me pictures of Spider-Man. That's what Michael told me. And I'm just like, okay, Michael, I'll do my best. Jeez. All right. So let's see. Let's talk about Winnipeg and NHL fans not giving STL any credit. I mean, but you gotta think of this though, Justin. Put the shoe on the other foot. 2000, when the Blues lost to the Sharks, as much as I hate talking about that series, did we really give any credit to San Jose when they beat us? No. Blues fans were all, this was a collapse. This team's better than this. They let a shit team beat them. They outworked them. They outhit them. That was the talk in St. Louis. I think as the number 1 seed, it's really hard, even in today's game, to give credit to the last seed if you get beat. I think it's more, we are clearly the better team. We should be winning this series. And it doesn't matter what happens if the Blues swept them or won in 7 games. I think you're going to get that from all the fans. Let's see. And he says, I disagree with you, Jeff. Everyone I talked to said the Jets were the far better team. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
Stop hanging out in Winnipeg, Justin.
Yeah, get out of there.
It's a long bus ride.
And Justin Scott, because they don't have an airport. They actually do, by the way. I think we had this discussion, but that is the fun thing to talk about. Justin Scott also adds Velarde is back, so now Winnipeg has no excuses. We'll see. Gabe Velarde's a heck of a player, and God, I still say that. I almost said J.P. Dumont. What was the guy they traded to L.A. who's now in Columbus?
No, he's in Washington and is about to knock out Montreal.
It's initials.
Right. You're going to make me blank on it. Oh, my God.
Shit, we're the worst.
Number 80 for the
Yep.
Washington Capitals.
Oh, my God. People are yelling at us right now.
This is the worst podcast on the worst hockey podcast. Oh, man.
I'm looking it up right now. We've got Pierre-Luc Dubois.
P.L. Dubois.
Yeah, P.L. Dubois. Yeah, so like that trade, I said at the time, what the fuck is LA doing? Giving them Velarde and Iafallo. I thought, man, they cleaned up in that deal, which, you know, I mean, hindsight's 2020. Dubois just was not a good fit in LA. But still, I was like, man, they got two solid forwards for him. And yeah, we're going to see a Gabe Velarde tonight. I think it's going to be very energized. Blues are going to have to slow him down too. I did not see what the lines are tonight, but I think he has been skating a lot on the second line. So that does kind of make their second line a little bit harder to deal with.
Yeah, I have not seen any predicted lines myself. You know, putting Iafallo elsewhere is going to be dangerous. You know, I thought their fourth line's been really effective. You know, Morgan Barron's been really good. So, you know, Iafallo could fall down there and make an impact. But yeah, we'll see, right? I mean, Velarde's been out for several weeks. You know, is he, you know, coming back because they're desperate, or is he actually fit and ready to play?
So I stand corrected. Velarde is on the top line with Scheifele and Connor, and what that does is moves Perfetti down to the second line with Nemesnikov and Iafallo, and then obviously Niederreiter, Lowry, and Appleton, and then Tanev with Barron and Dolan. And it looks like Logan Stanley is back in tonight for Winnipeg as well. I personally love this. I know he's laid out some pretty big hits, but he is Hal Gill to me. He is a pylon out there. He is a big man. He takes up a lot of space, but he is slow as all hell. And so I personally am happy that Logan Stanley's back.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly good analogy to Big Harold.
Yeah, big old Harold. Well, all right. Well, what's our predictions? Bill, what do you think?
That my sphincter will be clenched for the next 2.5 hours.
I'll be praying to Joe Boo.
Yes. Everybody pray to Joe Boo, but remember, it's very bad to drink Joe Boo's rum.
Yes. And make sure you give him cigar and rum, and sacrifice the live chicken if you can. I think this is going to be a tight game. I could see this being another one like game one that came down to a goal in the last couple minutes or even in OT. I got to tell you, I know I picked Jets in 6, and that's what this could still be lining up for. I think I'm changing it. I love the way the Blues have played at home. They just got to take one in Winnipeg, one out of the next 2 in Winnipeg if they can, and get the win on Friday. I'm going to say Blues. I think Blues win this one. I'm going to say 2-1. Jordan Binnington plays well. I think Connor Hellebuyck comes back and plays well, but I just think the Blues take it. I think they got all the momentum. I think they'll have to weather the storm early, but I love the way they're moving the puck. I love the way that all 4 lines are starting to click again. And I just think even on the road, I could see the Blues coming out and having a really, really strong game.
Yeah, so I think my best case scenario and prediction for this is that the Jets come out and play too fired up, get an early penalty, the Blues score, and bring the doubt in everybody's minds and take it from there. And it'll be a 3-1 Blues win.
There you go.
Probably an empty netter at the end.
I really hate to use keys to the game because I think that is the most overplayed thing in the history of sports. But for me, the biggest key for the Blues is they got to keep the forecheck up. They got to clog the middle. and they cannot let Winnipeg get set up too much in the offensive zone again. I think that is where they kill you. So if they can keep that to a minimum like they did in games 3 and 4, and even to a certain extent, I thought in game 1, I think they'll be golden. They got to play their game. They got to make Winnipeg beat them at their own game.
All right, so we're in the final throes of Montreal season. The net is empty. It's 3-1 Washington. 2:30 to go.
Yeah, I figured I'm being a good teammate here for you, Bill. I've got the Blues broadcast on right now because I figured I'll watch this and make sure we're not going overtime, and I'll let you watch Montreal, which I hope they pull it out for you, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, well, if they score here, I think it's coming back because I'm pretty sure Hudson failed to hold this puck in earlier. So let the puck clear the zone before they score, if they score.
You almost feel like that sometimes, right? Like there's so many times where I'm like, oh man, just bring the puck out for a second. Everyone come back and go back in because that goal's coming back if they score.
Yeah, and you think astute teams are going to start, telling players, "Hey, that was offside. Get it out." But no player's going to do that. And Logan Thompson's on his game, so minute 36 to go. This one looks like it's over.
Yep. All right. Next up for the Blues, Game 5 tonight in a couple minutes. Game 6 will be Friday on the 2nd. I don't believe they've announced a time yet, so that's still TBD. And if it's needed, Game 7 Sunday. Again, time not announced, but I would imagine they'd get a decent time slot there. Last thing,
series will be ending.
Yeah. Last thing I'll mention, and I cannot believe this has gone on show and not one person has said it. Have you noticed my hair?
Did you color it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's like fire orange.
Yes. Oh my God.
I did the eyebrows too.
What the hell are you thinking?
Midlife crisis, man. I couldn't help it.
Wow.
I'm getting a Corvette and a busty blonde next. That's coming next. I keep telling the wife that. She loves that. No, I have some friends who were asking me what I'm going to do for my midlife crisis. They've been giving me trouble for months, and finally turned 40 this last week. And so that day I colored my hair, and I was gonna do it, but I decided not to last minute. I didn't want to spend the money. I almost rented a Corvette for the weekend, so people I could literally drive to my friends' houses and be like, "Look, see, told you."
Yeah, that's it's odd when peer pressure is what drives the midlife crisis.
Yeah, my wife's like, "You've been saying that for months. You don't plan your midlife crisis. It just happens." And I'm like, no. I plan. That's what I do.
Well, I don't think I've hit mine yet. So, and
good.
I am almost 10 years older than you at this point. So.
No, I am not actually having a midlife crisis. It's funny because I'm like, I actually colored my hair ironically. Like, who does that?
Yeah, other than kids in high school. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Well, I think that'll do it. We have got quite the game coming up here, folks. Enjoy it. Thank you for spending this time with us. If you're listening to the show after the game, I hope everything we said was correct, and you're like, wow, these guys are the best prognosticators ever. So let's hope that we got a Blues win to talk about next week. Thanks to our amazing sponsor, StrikeWithMike.com. That wraps up episode 31 of season 14 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening. Thanks to those who participated in YouTube and Facebook and Twitch live chats during the live show. We'll talk to you next week. For Bill Day and Kurt Price, I'm Jeff Ponder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Almost forgot the name of the show. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues. Joe Boo.
Let's go Blues.
Fuck you, Connor Hellebuyck.
Also, make
Johnson, television production.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
I found prints! No, fingerprints. I don't think so.
Kmart is more than any store you